Hey guys, what's up? Sean here, and before I get started, I just want to say really quickly that I'm probably the most negative man in wrestling, and I watch it partly because I like being the most negative man in wrestling. I hate watch this shit all the time, so please click away if you don't like that kind of shit, and I think I turned more sour on it during this video than I was before this video, but the more I thought about it, the more sour I got, so... Hey guys, what's up? Sean here, and today we're going to be doing our WrestleMania 33 review. I figured I did predictions, might as well recap my predictions, which were not good, and then review the action. I'm going to go in reverse order of the show, so starting from main event backwards, because I feel like that's what people care about more. But nonetheless, here we go. So Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. So first of all, obviously, Taker seems to have finally hung them up and is finally done digging holes and souls and whatever the fuck he said that time. And WrestleMania no longer defines him, except it was his only match. Lots of things were said, and none of them made a lot of sense. Roman Reigns is now the best yard manager we've got. Very good with his yard. He's taken very good care of it, I suppose. So he won. The match was fine. Somehow, because of how bad, I'm going to get to this later, but because of how bad Orton Wyatt was, like, this match almost didn't feel as long to me as that one did. Although, because I pretty much knew the result, especially once it was the main event, it was like... I hate this, because I don't want to watch 23 minutes of Roman Reigns destroying The Undertaker, so that was a little painful. The match was fine for what it was supposed to be. I mean, I have many gripes with Roman winning it, but, you know, it is what it is. It was going to be what it was going to be. So, overall, okay. Retirement was fine. I wish it was a buried alive match and you got buried alive to end it, but I also wish Kane was involved, but hopefully he'll pop up on SmackDown or Raw to officially retire, and probably not, but maybe, and maybe Kane and him will get to have a last little thing, because that's what I want. Okay, on to the SmackDown. Oh, I was right, by the way. I had Reigns beating The Undertaker. So, moving on to the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which at 11:30 p.m. I really didn't think we were going to get, but we did. Naomi defeated Alexa Bliss for the championship. Everyone else did nothing. This match was only like 5 minutes long. It was fine. Naomi won. I was correct. But it was basically a throwaway match that they just felt like they had to get in because they moved it off the pre-show to the main card and then barely fit it in. So, yeah, James Ellsworth was in the match. That wasn't good. But, I mean, I didn't care about this match, so they couldn't really fuck it up if they tried. On to Lesnar Goldberg. Also a, like, 5-minute match. Also, I was right, Brock won. So, here it looks like I was a genius. We'll get to the part where I was not a genius. But, overall, like, it was fine. I didn't quite understand why the Brock was able to kick out of the jackhammer, and why, you know, like, after all those other times where he got hit with less moves, seemingly, and was defeated, why he could kick out that time. That didn't click in my head, other than it's WrestleMania, which doesn't seem like a good enough reason for me, but, I mean, look, Brock was going to win. They weren't really going to have a match. They had more of a match than I guess we could have thought before. The spot through the barricade was pretty good, I guess, if you like those spots, which I liked that one and the one Nia did earlier this year. But, I mean, overall, it wasn't a big match. Not much to review. So, moving on, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, where I have a lot to say. If you'd like to skip ahead, there are timestamps below to each individual match so that you can escape me ranting. This match was an abomination. I told you in the prediction video, if you want to go check it out, which also has timestamps, that Bray had to win this. I knew in my heart Bray was not going to win this. I picked Bray Wyatt hoping that someone would have an epiphany backstage and they would realize, oh, Bray has to win this because we never let him fucking win anything. But no one had that epiphany. Not only did they not have that epiphany, but Harper didn't show up. Sister Abigail didn't show up. There was a segment with worms and maggots and cockroaches that led to nothing, that had no bearing on the match whatsoever. It just happened. And then Randy hits a random RKO, which I know it's out of nowhere, and then it ends. And it was terrible. And it should be shamed forever, and Bray should quit the company for having been put through whatever the fuck that was. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here that's unrelated but is related, so if you want to skip, but it relates to this and the Rollins Triple H match that comes up right after this, or before this, really. I feel like WrestleMania doesn't have anything to do with the storylines like that they built going into WrestleMania. I feel like WrestleMania is diluted for the casual people who tune into like just WrestleMania, to the point where like Harper doesn't interfere, Samoa Joe doesn't interfere, like these storyline, like Sister Abigail has nothing to do with this, like these storyline points that they hammered home for so many weeks just get tossed out the window so that it becomes more simplistic for people who weren't following along. And I just feel like it ruins the importance of the event when all the matches seem like they are fucking just batshit crazy, like Vince woke up fucking smoking crack and then just randomly decided things that just don't have any bearing on what made any sense to the fucking story that they were trying to tell. Like, what was the story? Because I'm still unclear on what the whole story here is. Is the story that Bray Wyatt mind-controlled Randy Orton, or is the story that Randy Orton willfully joined the Wyatts so that he could trick Bray and make Luke Harper mad, and then because he's such a good face, he lit the gravesite of Sister Abigail on fire and then stabbed it with a crucifix? Because faces like to burn dead people and people's family members while they stab their grave? What? So did the heel win this? Was Bray the face? I have no fucking clue what was supposed to be happening in the first place, but then I know that none of that shit mattered, so why the fuck did I try to figure it out in the first place? Stupid story. They botched the entire thing. The, like, 7-month or whatever build it was. They fucking shit it down a toilet, which they kind of did at the beginning when fucking Randy couldn't have that match and Kane won versus Bray. But no, they managed to shit it down the toilet even further at this point. So fuck that story, and I hope it just ends so that I don't have to have a fucking headache. Because if Sister Abigail, like, shows up on Tuesday, I'm gonna lose my shit. Seth Rollins and Triple H. Seth Rollins won. I had Triple H, but I had Triple H because I had Samoa Joe being involved in this. But hey, it's fucking WrestleMania. What the fuck does the story we just built for fucking weeks have anything to do with this? So, yeah, I guess they couldn't get Joe a plane ticket. He couldn't make it. I don't know. I don't know where the fuck the man was. But don't worry, Stephanie McMahon was there because she's been heavily involved in this recently. Or not. And she grabbed a sledgehammer, so that happened. I didn't like this match very much. It was far too long. It largely didn't, I mean, it didn't feel like it had the, like, I guess Triple H was angry, but it didn't feel like, I didn't feel like rooting for Seth either. Like, first of all, the story to me is confusing because it seems like Triple H was mad that Seth Rollins tore his ACL. I don't really get how that works. Like, how could you be mad? Like, Triple H, you were hurt. You missed time. You got hurt in the DX run in 2006. So, like, how did you... I don't know. That's the impression that I got of what this story was. And then, you know, they did the typical, like, trading back pedigree attempts, which didn't get pointed out by the commentators at all, which I thought was stupid. But they did that, and then they did the typical Triple H needs to get the sledgehammer, but he'll never use it because he's the worst at sledgehammers, despite seeming to be the expert at sledgehammers. So, like, it was everything that it was supposed to be, except for the part where Joe wasn't involved, and then that was really dumb and made me upset. So that kind of really ruined the match, the fact that Joe didn't come out for me, because it just... What was the point in it being a, you know, no DQ, basically, if you weren't even going to have the guy who's fucking caused the injury to Seth in the first place and who's been involved in this the whole time come out to the ring? Like, I don't know. It's just... it seemed ridiculous, and I don't... Between Harper not showing up on the Wyatt thing, and then no Joe here, no Abigail, it's like, what the hell were we doing? So moving on, John Cena and Nikki Bella defeat The Miz and Maryse. I had this one. I think everyone had this one. He proposed. The match was not good. For some reason, both people got pinned in the ring at the same time, which I didn't understand, but okay. Rules be damned. The ref counted with both fucking hands for some fucking reason. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say about that. Moving on. The Hardy Boys defeated Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Cesaro Sheamus, and Enzo and Cass. Okay. Cool, I guess. I hope they play into the deleted storyline. I obviously didn't have this one because I didn't anticipate them having back-to-back ladder matches. I mean, I did and I didn't. Like, once it was announced as a ladder match, it was like, oh, that's for the Hardys. But then, I mean, first of all, I feel abused by the WWE. Whenever I feel like something might happen, it doesn't happen. So, like, you know, who's gonna come in 30 in the Royal Rumble? It's gonna be Joe. It's Roman Reigns. Like, it literally took me that day 5 to 10 seconds to realize Roman Reigns was coming out. Like, I heard the music, and I didn't recognize it, because I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, wait, I don't really watch NXT. Who is this? Wait, it's not Joe, I don't think, because I sing a Swamp Monster thing to his. Who is it? Oh, it's fucking Roman. So, like, I just really didn't expect the Hardys to actually show up. I expected them to turn it into a ladder match and then be like, no Hardys. And then once the New Day came out, I was like, oh, it's the Hardys, because they can't do this. They can't do it. If the New Day came out and said someone else was going to be in the match, and then the crowd starts chanting delete, and it's not the Hardys, like, then the New Day's heel forever. Like, you can't undo that. So once that happened, it was pretty clear. Matt seemed to be broken Matt, whereas Jeff seemed to be normal Jeff. I hope they really lean into the deleted stuff. Definitely for Matt, I would like it to involve Jeff, but I'm okay if they do it just for Matt now, and then they kind of redo the Brother Nero stuff and, like, do it again, basically. But I really hope that they let Matt be broken, because I don't care, especially about Matt, if he's not broken. Like, I don't want regular Matt Hardy. And they seem to be broken. Matt was doing delete and, you know, this thing, and there was a video on their Twitter or whatever that he was, you know, saying they deleted the club and obsolete and whatever the fuck he says. So I'm okay with it right now. I don't know why they're on Raw, but I guess if you're gonna let them be deleted, having them on Raw is probably better, because it can waste time in the 3-hour show. A lot of talking, a lot of, you know, a lot of deleting. Lots of people are to be deleted, okay? So, yeah, I didn't get this one right, but neither did the entire world, so, hey. Moving on, Bayley defeated Charlotte, Nia, and Sasha Banks. This match wasn't great. They botched the corner spot with the turnbuckle, because apparently, according to Michael Cole, Sasha was eliminated because she hit her head on the exposed turnbuckle, except that's not at all what happened. But she hit her head on a not exposed turnbuckle. I don't know. I assume they botched it and she was supposed to take it off. I assume we're not supposed to be, like, so in the fucking PG safety era that, like, I'm supposed to imagine that it was taken off and, like, it doesn't actually happen. Is that what we're supposed to be thinking? That, like, it was off? Was it off, but my eyes are lying to me because that's how we do this now? I hope not. As far as the rest of the match, I mean, Nia, I guess she was protected by being eliminated by all three of them. Bayley defeated Charlotte with, again, what appeared to be a fucking elbow from the top, except it was apparently Charlotte hitting her head on the turnbuckle and the elbow from the top. Again, you wouldn't have got that impression because they botched the fuck out of it. I don't know what it is with, like, the Raw women and having big matches at pay-per-views and then fucking them up entirely. Hell in a Cell rings a bell for me. Like, not being able to break a fucking table and then just giving up on it completely. Like, okay, the turnbuckle wasn't exposed for the Sasha spot, so fucking fix it. Like, get it done for the second spot. But no, apparently we'll just fucking keep running into a pillow and pretending like it was a lead pipe. So that wasn't good. And then Bayley won, so that was pointless because what the fuck did she win on Raw weeks ago for if she could have won it here? I don't know. I thought Charlotte was losing her streak at Mania, but apparently it was more important to lose it at fucking Fastlane. So, yeah. Okay. And their entrance, Bayley's entrance didn't work, so that was good. The inflatable tube men did not inflate. Not a fun match. I had Sasha. I was wrong. So far, I had four out of 9 here, I guess, or so. Something like that. I don't know. I'm not doing great. Anyway. So Kevin Owens defeated Chris Jericho to become the new United States Champion. I was really looking forward to this match. It didn't live up to what I wanted from it. I thought that it was kind of lackluster. Once again, Joe could have appeared in this spot, but he didn't, despite him getting involved recently with the storyline. So once again, fucking no Samoa Joe, no continuity to the storylines at all. Fucking whatever. I thought the ending was stupid. I mean, I get, like, that's, you know, the hardest part of the ring and whatever the fuck they always say, but, like, nobody does a spot on the outside, then rolls the person in and then gets the pin. That's just not a thing. So it was like, wait, it's over? Like, I didn't understand. And that happened in this match. It happened with Bayley. Not so much with the Seth match, but, you know, the Naomi thing kind of felt weird because it was a submission she'd never done before. The Dean Ambrose match had that problem. Like, there were a lot of matches on this card where I was like, wait, it ended? And it's not, like, normally to me that's usually a sign that matches were going short, but most of these matches went 10 minutes or so. It's only at the end of the card where you get the 4 and the 5 minute matches. Everything else is at 9-10 minutes, and yet I'm still, like, acting like I couldn't have seen the finish coming. So it was a very weird night for that kind of stuff. I don't know. I thought that for being one of the more emotional feuds going in, it just lacked emotion, kind of. And I guess making it like no DQ or a gimmick match would have maybe helped with the emotion. I don't know. It was lacking that something that I thought it had by default just because of how the build had been. So I kind of, it was fine, but it disappointed me. Moving on, AJ Styles defeated Shane McMahon. Thank God. When it went to 20 minutes, I was like, what fishy motherfucking thing is going to happen here? How is Shane going to, like, fucking weasel his way to victory? But I trust Shane, and in general, in that sense, the McMahons, to not put themselves over actual talent at Mania. Like, Vince doesn't win those things, really. Shane doesn't win them. So I trusted them to not do something stupid, but it still was like, the best guy on the roster can't beat the GM who's never wrestled, basically, without it taking 20 minutes. Like, I know it was for the spots and whatnot, but it still felt like AJ had to struggle with a guy he shouldn't even take 5 seconds to beat. Way too much. So, but overall, the match was fun, I guess. If you just try to ignore it and take it in a vacuum where, like, things that happen at Mania, like I was saying, don't have anything to do with anything else, then this happened at Mania. It has nothing to do with what happened last Tuesday or what will happen next Tuesday, and it's, like, wiped from AJ's record and wiped from everyone's record. Then it was fine. Probably one of the better matches to watch, at least on the show, because, I mean, as it stands right now, like, what was really good? I guess people were probably hyped for Brock and Goldberg, but I wasn't really, because I don't care about Goldberg, because he's before my time, and I mean, Brock, he does the one thing he does, and I knew he was going to win, so it kind of wasn't that interesting. The Hardys' whole return was cool, but the match was kind of lackluster, except for Jeff, you know, obviously jumping off the very tall ladder, but Jeff's done that so much that it's like, oh, we fell off a tall thing again. Like, it's almost like I'm desensitized to Jeff falling off of tall things. And other than that, like, this was probably one of the more fun matches of the evening, possibly the second most, because my pick of the night for my favorite matches later. But yeah, so moving on back to the pre-show, we had Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin. This match was just utterly garbage. I don't even know why they did this. And then Dean won. So, yeah. Please, I mean, I was thankful it happened just so I didn't have to listen to fucking Renee Young and people at the desk, like, be awkward and terrible about predicting what's going to happen next on a fake show that they know the answer to these questions for the most part, but, man. Anyway, moving on, Andre the Giant Battle Royal, Mojo Rawley won because of Rob Gronkowski, the New England Patriots tight end. That was terrible. Sammy should have won, Strowman should have won, one of those two for me, and instead, because Rob Gronkowski jumped over the barricade, it was Mojo Rawley. However, MVP of the night was the cup. Did you see the cup? When Jinder, like, threw it back at Gronk or whatever, it landed standing on the barricade, so that was pretty great. The security guard trying to, like, deck Rob Gronkowski was great. But other than that, it was A, a battle royal, and B, one that had a winner that doesn't matter to me at all. So, okay. And then finally, the match that kicked off the show, Neville over Austin Aries. My most correct prediction of the evening, where I said Neville would win by cheating. I was right. And this was my match of the night, and I hate the cruiserweights. Every time the cruiserweights come out, I'm like, please go away. This isn't interesting. I don't care. And I still don't really care, I guess, as far as the storyline or the characters go, but it was a good match. It was the only good match that like, from top to bottom, the only really match that I was into. You know, and I was hanging on my pick there. It was the first match of the night. I was like, come on, Neville. Come on, make me right. Make me right. And then he reaches into the eye and he claws at it. And I was like, yes, I've been right. I've been vindicated. And it was great. So that was my favorite match of the night. So favorite match of the night, Neville versus Austin Aries. Worst match of the night, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Biggest disappointment, I guess it's Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, but I'll pick Kevin and Chris. Overall, I mean, a lot of people are saying this is one of the better Manias, and I guess if we follow my standard of Manias fucking are terrible because they don't have anything to do with actual people who watch wrestling, and they just are for fucking idiots who watched once in the 80s and then tuned into this for $60 because they don't know about the network being on a free trial. I mean, I guess it was fine for those folks. The concert was brutal. Thank you guys for watching so much. Hopefully I can record a different one of these. It was way too long, but oh my god, it started at 5 p.m. and went till after midnight for me here. Leave your thoughts below, and I will see you all if you go for the kickoff show to the end. Like, that was way too long. Just far too long. That was an episode of SmackDown, Raw, and some extra. I can't do that ever. Like, no. It didn't deserve that. It didn't need that. We could have cut so many things, and then we would have been having a better night. So, it was too long, and none of the matches were killer. Some of them were just not bad, and then some of them were just mind-bogglingly stupid, and kind of ruined everything. AKA, when Bray Wyatt lost to Randy Orton, after the bugs and all that shit that happened, I could not get into anything that happened after that point, especially knowing that Roman Reigns beating and likely retiring The Undertaker was coming later in my night. Once Brock and Goldberg came out, I was like, and Roman's beating The Undertaker and The Undertaker's retiring, so this was now the worst thing that this whole last, like, hour and a half is now destroyed for me, and I can't take it. So, I mean, it was better than last year, because last year was one of the worst shows ever put on by anyone ever, but I mean, this had the Hardys as a redeeming quality, and then, I mean, I'm picking my number 2 best match was AJ Styles versus Shane fucking McMahon, so, like, not really a killer night for wrestling matches. A fine night for hopefully wrapping up all of these, like, directionless messes that they put on. I mean, God. So that's my review. I don't really have a score or anything, but I guess it's a C. If we're going to give letters, I guess. I'm the most negative man in wrestling. You've been listening to my review. As far as my picks go, I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 13. probably could have, 6 out of 12 if you take out the Hardys, because, they weren't announced for the card. I probably should have had Randy, but I went with my brain, not my stupid WWE brain. Probably should have had Seth, but I really believe Samoa Joe would be there, so could have done a little better, but overall, is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all later.